some years ago, well, about 30 years ago actually, when I was about 27, 28, I moved to Darwin. But before I moved to Darwin, I spent a lengthy time in Kakadu National Park with my last girlfriend. She and I were walking towards the Crocodile Hotel one day up there, and in Jabiru, the town there, and there were a group of Aboriginal women sitting on blankets under a beautiful tree near the hotel, and they yelled out, come over, have a chat. And so we went over and sat down with them and chatted with them for about 20, 30 minutes. At the end, when we stood up to go, one of the ladies stood up too, and she stood facing me. And she said, well, she did more than say. She looked at me. She looked at me with such intensity that it felt like she was looking through me or inside me or into some part of me that I did not know myself. She asked me a question. She said, this is a question I have for you. You listen to this. She said, hey you, how do you make a stone soft? And then I thought about it, and I started to think about how I could answer that question. How can you make a stone? How can you make a stone soft? And she stopped me and said, no, you take it away. You think about that. You think about that. How do you make a stone soft? Well, for 25, 30 years, I contemplated that question. I truly did. She disarmed me so much that question stood inside me, and I frequently thought about, how do you make a stone soft? I mean, how do you make a stone soft without it being a stone anymore? If you put water around it, it becomes sedimentation. It becomes dust and not rock. How do you make a stone soft? How do you make a stone soft? The answer came after a great deal of work, emotional work, and I had a couple of really big, well, I call them tsunamis of emotions that were stuff that I hadn't dealt with in my life, and they came at a time when I was ready to deal with them. And they came like a tsunami. They came all together and they massed together and they overwhelmed me so I couldn't speak. And I couldn't do anything but cry and let it happen. And it happened twice over a short period of time actually. And the first time I got to a place where I was calm again and I felt like, okay, I'm starting to heal. I'm starting to forgive myself and others. And then another one came. And it was so overwhelming that it was like a place I'd never known inside myself. And perhaps it was that very place that woman was looking at inside me all those years ago. How could she know? But she seemed to, because that's when I found the answer, or I began to find the answer, when my heart was healed. Well, when my spiritual heart began to heal, because not long after, my own physical heart broke down, and I had to have bypass surgery. It was a shock. But in the end, it was about the physical and the spiritual healing that needed to take place for my heart to know that answer. So today I'm going to read the poem that I wrote that discloses the answer to that question. How do you make a stone soft? It's called The Stones.